Okay, the Bulls had a really good stretch here. Could they be putting this thing together at the right time? We're 70 games into the season. That means there are 12 games left. I mean, I told you I'm done trying to predict it, but we're going to try and make some sense of what's going on because they look pretty good. Going to break it all down on today's episode of Believe in Bulls here on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag. I'm your host, Nick Schultz, alongside my partner, former Bulls bench prop member and Tennessee Vol, C.J. Watson, a very, very happy Tennessee Vol going to the Sweet 16. I bet you're riding high right now, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely riding high. Hopefully they can keep it up.
But beating Duke. I mean, you broke my bracket, but you beat Duke. Yeah, my hope it's dead. And we got like the Believe bracket pool, my on 3 bracket pool. I'm sitting here now just like, okay, I'm just gonna be a casual observer because none of my teams are left. Baylor kind of torpedoed my bracket entirely. So, but we'll get into a little more NCAA tournament talk here to start the show. But we got some Bulls news, but a lot of news this weekend. It feels like with the Bulls. Big thing is Lonzo Ball is going to be out for most, if not all, of next season. So this is happening, and we're going to dive into like the big picture implications of that after I tell you about our friends, BetOnline.ag. Good timing for this. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. They have updated odds for everything from live games, conference championships, right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season. If you're curious, Alabama, as of Monday afternoon, is the favorite to win the national championship, plus 360. Houston right behind it, plus 400. Tennessee, plus 1,200. If you're into really, really good defense, Tennessee could be a good value for that. All of that at BetOnline. What are you waiting for? Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Get that 50% bonus at BetOnline. It's where the game starts. This tournament has been chaos so far. And trust me, as someone who's been betting on it, I'm quitting. I don't know if I'm going to bet the rest of the way. It's just been too chaotic to even try to predict. Don't forget, also, we have an official t-shirt of our show, Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, available exclusively at shop.believe.com. There's a lot of great stuff there to support all the shows on our network. The official shirt of our program, Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, shop.believe.com. The link is in my Twitter and Instagram bios. Real quick, you wish that you were on old Rocky Top right now after that game?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll definitely be singing on good old Rocky Top right now, but I'll definitely sing it from afar. But I'm always rooting for Tennessee, and it's good to see them doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried about him losing the point guard, losing Ziegler. I wasn't sure how they were going to do, but that defense, if they play defense like that, that's why I tagged you in the tweet. You say defense travels. It did, and it's got to keep going.
Yeah, defense always travels.
Are they in Kansas City?
New York, I think.
Midwest? New York? No, they're going to New York. That's right. They're going to New York. I can't remember who's in what region because the fact that Northwestern was playing in Sacramento threw me off something fierce.
Yes, very odd.
Yeah. So I can never keep track of it all. But hey, hoping you're a happy guy this weekend too. I know they got big games coming up the Sweet 16. Who do they have first up? I don't even know. Like I keep losing track of the bracket.
FAU, I think.
Oh, do they have Florida Atlantic? Dusty May. Yeah, Tennessee's a 5-point favorite over FAU. Dusty May's going to be a Power 5 head coach either this cycle or next cycle. That's a talent right there. So that I don't know if it's going to be easy, but I like Tennessee's chances.
Yeah, I definitely like our chances. I think it's going to be a tough game. Their style kind of scares me, but I think, like I said, we keep that defense up. You know, we can travel the travels, but we got to score the ball also. I think that's the biggest Achilles heel for us is scoring the basketball. So we can score and play some defense. I think I like our chances.
Exactly. I agree with you. And, a team that's been scoring the ball really well is the Bulls. Put up 139 points on the Timberwolves. It took them 2 overtimes to do it. 139, 131 victory, double OT. Just going to point out that the game went to double OT with no Karl Anthony Towns. Anthony Edwards got hurt and Rudy Gobert fouled out, and the Timberwolves still took the Bulls to double overtime. Do with that information what you will. Then the next day, second half of a back-to-back, they held the Heat under 100 points, and Patrick Beverley scored 14 straight. Patrick Beverley on his own scored 14 straight points. So all in all, no matter whether you think they should have gone to 2 OT or not, good weekend for the Bulls getting these 2 wins at a really good time.
Yeah, it's a big time for them. They came together and starting to put together a string of wins right when they needed. Like I said, I think that point guard position has to have add some more scoring, and that's what Pat Bev did. I think he's probably watching our podcast every now and then to listen to our critiques, and he's listening to. But He definitely played well, and I think as long as they can stay on this win streak, I think the next test would be Philly to see how much they gelled, how much they learned from the past mistakes. So hopefully they'll get another win on the road.
Yeah, the Philly series is interesting because Joel Embiid has never lost to the Bulls. He's 12-0, and now we're recording this Monday afternoon. The game's going to be played, so that might be 13-0 by the time this goes live Tuesday morning. It could be 12-1. Who knows? But I'm not picking the Bulls to win these two. They got the Sixers. They're on the road to start. They come back to the United Center. I'm not gonna pick them to beat the 76ers. If they do, I'll be surprised. Just Embiid's just gonna take over like he always does. It is literally what Stacey King wants Vooch to do, is the land of the little people, Gulliver's Travels. That's what Joel Embiid does to the Bulls.
So no faith in you, Nick. I feel like the Bulls are going to prove you wrong once again.
I mean, they've done it now the last, 2 straight weeks. They proved me wrong. I said they weren't going to make the play-in tournament. Yeah. Now they're like cemented in the play-in tournament field. I said they haven't scored the ball well, and Pat Bev said, screw it. I'm scoring 14 straight on my own. And I'm trying to like find the quote here when he was talking about their record with him. He's like, it should have been better. There were expletives said, naturally. And again, not a bad thing. I love the fire, but it was just a funny quote about what the Bulls record is with Pat Bev. And, you know, everyone's using the Pat Bev effect, which, by the way, we titled that podcast that like the day or however long after he came to the Bulls. It was the Pat Bev effect. So I love that that's latching on, but he is making an impact, and he's got this team not on his own, but he's a big reason why this team's in the position it's in to maybe possibly do this thing.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely brings a different vibe to the team, a confident vibe. He just says what he wants, what he feels, and I think that's the image the whole team is taking on. Really, they're all playing more aggressive, offensively and defensively, and they're, like I said, they're on a two-game win streak, and they can get it to 3. And I think they really can, push the envelope to make some noise in the playoffs.
The quote here from Pat Bev: Bulls are 7-4 since he came aboard, and he said it should be 9-2. Is what he said. He's right. And there was another word in there. There was a 4-letter word that started with S. That started that answer, by the way. And there was no way I could clean that up, so I just kind of glossed over it. But it's been great watching the way he's rubbed off on the rest of the guys like we thought he would. But it's leading me to a big question. Right now, 12 games left to go. Are the Bulls contenders or pretenders?
It's still tough to say. I mean, I think this next game will really give me a full dosage of if they're pretenders or contenders. If they can win on the road at Philly, hostile environment, good team, dominant player, maybe the MVP. If they can shut him down and they can get a win on the road, I think that's a big test. And I don't know if they'll still be contenders, but they'll be I'll give them 50-50 to make some noise in the play-in tournament and in the playoffs.
I feel like they've been 50-50 all year, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like, you don't know what team you're going to get. You're getting 50-50 chances either way. Like, I wish they'd go after more 50-50 balls, but Pat Bev's kind of been the guy. He and Caruso are the ones doing that. And there's an interesting point. I want to get to the Lonzo news first, but I want to get to the point about Pat Bev and Caruso in that starting lineup because Javonte Green's coming back. Got some interesting lineup combinations here, but I want to lead with Lonzo here because the Bulls made it official. This sounds bad. This doesn't sound good. The Bulls announced Lonzo Ball is going to have a cartilage transplant surgery on his knee, and it's going to keep him out most, if not all, of next season. That's 2023-24. That wasn't in the announcement. Shams had that. Just, I guess, off the bat, your reaction to that kind of surgery, because I'd say, again, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what kind of surgery it is, but like you said, it sounds bad. It just sucks, and you feel for Lonzo, and just hope he can come back, be the same player he was, if not better, with no pain and no issues. But definitely sucks for him, sucks for the Bulls, and it's just going to be interesting to see what direction they go in, what type of point guard they're going to try and find if they try and look for one, or they stand firm and don't do anything, just like they did the trade deadline. We don't know, but hopefully, just for him, it just sucks. A lot of injuries in his career, so early in his career, and I hope that he can bounce back from it.
If we're keeping score here, this is surgery number 3 on that knee. This is 4th knee surgery in his career, and he's 25 years old. Like, this whole thing absolutely sucks. He's not been on the court since January of 22. We're now 14, coming up on 15 months since. It's going to be at least 2 years before he plays in a game, and there's no sugarcoating it that it sucks, but you got to take the human hat off, and it's a business here. If you're AK you've got to look at that as, okay, we should have gone for point guard depth this offseason anyway. Now the urgency is there, I think, at least.
Yeah.
You need a point guard.
Yeah, it's just a sign that you need a point guard. You need to find someone to relieve Lonzo, get someone just as capable as him, if not better, or someone who can hold the ship down until he comes back, if he comes back. And that's probably gonna be the number one position on the list to go out and get a point guard.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was size, and I think you've got enough. I think if Patrick Williams' development is kind of helping with that. Like last year, it's like, okay, well, you know how Patrick Williams is going to come back. I think he fills that 4 spot really well. You need a point guard now. And I think that is first and foremost. If you can get someone who can shoot too, great.
Yeah.
But I think you want like a true point guard. Like Lonzo is kind of he fits the offense well in terms of he's the 3-and-D type who can create. He kind of does it all. I don't know if you're going to find another Lonzo Ball. So let's say you don't find someone with his skill set. Would you rather have a pass first point guard or the 3-and-D type?
I mean, if we're keeping DeMar and Zach together with Vooch, I would definitely want a pass first point guard, but someone who can play defense, someone who's a capable 3-point shooter, but also can create his own shot. I mean, obviously that's a NBA 2K made up player, but you gotta go out there and get whatever you can that's closest to that regimen, and just hopefully he can do the things that Lonzo does, and just to help put the caliber of the team with Zach and DeMar and Vooch.
Well, and this too, you talk about keeping those guys together. I'm going to put your GM hat on again. We haven't done that in a while. Your GM CJ right now, you're down a key piece of this team next year. I'm looking at this, right? I hear most, if not all, plan all of next year. If he comes back sooner, great. You got a plan for he's going to be out all of next year. So with that in mind, you got a big decision coming up on DeMar's contract and whether to re-sign Vooch. And I think they should re-sign Vooch.
Yeah.
I say again, we brought this up a couple weeks now, and I feel like I'm kind of manifesting it or kind of speaking it into existence. Somebody has to get traded at this point, right? This changes the entire makeup.
Yeah, definitely changes the entire makeup of your team, and then just whatever direction they want to go. I think, like you said, point guard is needed. Do you re-sign Vooch? Do you trade DeMar and let Patrick Williams, continue to grow and develop, and hopefully he comes into a budding star that can pair well with Zach LaVine. So I definitely think it's a lot on the table, a lot to think about, a lot of decisions to be made. So hopefully, they don't wait to the end of the summer to make them. They do it quick and fast.
And I just want to be clear. Yes, they talk about like the big 3, if you want, or even the 4 of Zach, DeMar, Vooch, Lonzo. Lonzo is Ringo in that group. Like he's the 4th. But what the value of being a true point guard, that's a very important position when you have a lineup like this where you need someone to create. He can also play good defense and score for you in bulk. Like you talk about 2K, make a player. It feels like Lonzo has kind of turned into that with the amount of needs that he fills on his own.
Oh yeah, for sure. He does so many things he does that's just not natural, and on the way, different instincts on the ball, the passes he makes. Like I said, he is definitely a makeup player, but if they can go out and find someone that's close to his skill, I think that would be the best for them to pair someone like a pass first point guard who doesn't need the ball, who can play off Zach and DeMar and Vooch. So I think it's going to be a hard task, but definitely a void that needs to be filled ASAP.
And space the floor. You need spacing.
Yeah, for sure.
The Pat Bev edition doesn't help with that, but I mean, you make do with the tenacity you play with. It kind of helps. You can make up for that. I feel like at least down the stretch here, you can wear teams down because you're going to have teams you're 70 games in. You can wear teams down. You get a hot hand. You never know how things are going to fall, but long term, that's not sustainable. Like you want someone who can come in and facilitate. So we're going to save that more for the off-season conversation. I feel like once we find out who's available right now, we can be talking. Let's say so-and-so becomes available. Do you want them? Like, let's say Trae Young wants to trade out of Atlanta. Like, would you want that? And I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just the first example that came to mind. Like, we're speaking hypotheticals right now. The off season comes around, you're going to find out who's available. So we're going to shelve that for a little bit. But I mean, it's just brutal injury news, but it's not all bad. Like Javonte Green is on his way back. We haven't talked about him much because he had a knee problem. I'm sensing a trend here. He had a knee problem. He wasn't doing much working out. It seemed like now he's with Windy City. He's questionable for the first Sixers game. I don't know again if he's going to play or not, just with the time we're recording this. But getting him back, that creates a different conversation here because he started early in the year before he got hurt. Now he comes back. Do you start him or do you put him off the bench?
You definitely put him off the bench. I think just leave the starting line where it is for now. Just let him come in, get his feet wet, get back into rhythm, and but definitely he's another body you can throw out there who can guard. I feel like 1 through 4. Definitely a capable 3-point shooter. So definitely brings another type of energy out there, and I think it's just better for him to have Coach Donovan to have more bodies and more lineups he can throw at people, especially during the playoffs.
I agree with you. I don't mind starting small, depending on the matchup too. Like obviously against Joel Embiid, I would like to not see the small ball lineup. I think I'd like to see Patrick Williams start over Caruso, but I mean Billy Donovan likes small ball, so maybe you can make up for it. But I like the idea of start small and then go big. Like the bench unit that you can, if you want to do a line change for all intents and purposes, you could have Io, Kobe White, Javonte Green, Patrick Williams, Andre Drummond. To me, that adds that much length at the 3 spot. And he's a capable 3-point shooter, but he brings just that extra energy, that extra jolt is huge.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely brings that in. You're going to need all those fouls when you're playing someone like Joel Embiid. So you're going to need Drummond. You're going to need Green. Just throw bodies at him, and try to get him tired, try to wear him down. So I think, like I said, the more lineups Billy Donovan has to throw at his opponent is definitely good for him.
Yeah, and I just go back to it. We haven't talked about Javonte with the Pat Bev edition. It seemed like Javonte Green just kind of got like, okay, he's rehabbing. We don't know when he's coming back. I was worried it was going to be like a Lonzo type where setback after setback after setback. It seems like he's coming back. I mean, again, he played with Windy City. I don't know if he's going to be back for the Sixers game or not. He's listed as questionable, but that's a good sign. It's better than doubtful like he was the other day or not playing at all. But that's going to be just an interesting ripple here because 12 games left. Yes, we've hit the 70 game mark in this season. 12 games to play. It's getting interesting. And this is the time of year with they keep billing themselves as a playoff team. Well, guess what? Now you are now in position to make a run at this thing. It's a matter of, do you want to go get it, or are you going to take 2 steps back again and be like Lucy with the football, which I keep using over and over again?
Right. Yeah, they got to take advantage of their opportunities. It's right there on the platter for them. It depends if they want to take it or not. They got a 2-win game win streak going right now, so hopefully they can push it to 3 and and keep it going. So, but if not, they'll definitely find themselves out of the play-in tournament, which they don't want to be.
I mean, I thought they'd be out of it by now, and they keep winning games. I think they'd win some of these. And I know the Heat feel like they're in, I don't want to say a free fall. Doesn't seem like a good situation right now in Miami. I know Jimmy Butler's vocal. He's not happy with things, and they didn't do much. I don't think did they do anything at the trade deadline? Like, that's a weird situation down there in Miami. Getting that win, I think that's big, even moving forward in the East too. Like, what's going to happen to Miami this offseason? So that's something to watch, I think.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think it's more so big mentally, I think, for the Bulls also, just to know they can beat a caliber of that playoff team. And when you're
sweep 3-0.
Yeah, that's big time. And when your star is disgruntled and complaining in the media, that's never a good thing for any franchise. So, hopefully, the Heat can figure it out. But, the Bulls that was a big win for them.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind a guy with fire. That's why we like Pat Bev so much. He's got the fire. He's going to tell you what he thinks to the media. Yeah. But there's a line there where it's like, okay, at what point do we worry about this? And I'm not saying Jimmy's at that point. He might be like on that line. He's also going to hold his guys accountable. I mean, you played for Tibbs. He played for Tibbs. There's a mentality that comes with that. And, that's something from a leadership standpoint I don't mind. But it's just
for sure.
39 and 34 right now. They're the 7th seed. Last year, they were the number 1 seed in the East. Interesting things going on in Miami right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of Jimmy's tactics are all just mentally. I know he complains a lot to the media, but it could be just to fire his teammates up and, to get everybody going. So I think I love it. I love his leadership role. I like the things that he does. But, sometimes, some things have to stay in the locker room. But, also, like I said, he does things mentally to get his team ready because he knows they're going to read the papers. The media is going to ask him the questions that, oh, Jimmy said this. So it's all a mental tactic. I know he's, probably, thought out for sure.
I always say I miss Jimmy. Like I do. I miss Jimmy Butler. Like now, would I do that trade again? Yes, I would, because it did get you Zach LaVine. Yeah, it got you Lowry marketing. Okay. You can talk about whether Garpax won that trade or not. I still would do it again, just given where they were at that point. But did I want to? No. Like I wanted to keep Jimmy around, and be nice to have a guy like him on this team. And Pat Bev's doing what I thought he'd do. It'd be nice to have him all year. And now he's got him surging. Bulls are 6-4 in their last 10 games. They are, let's see if you can follow along here. 1 game back of Toronto for the 9 seed, 1.5 games behind Atlanta for the 8 seed. They are right in the thick of this play-in thing, and they've got a game and a half up on Indiana and Washington. So right now, they're in the driver's seat if they want to go get it. And I mean, I hope they want to go get it, but you have to do it.
Right. Yeah, you got to go get it. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. Like, it's right there. Like you said, it's all if they, how bad do they want it? Are they going to fight, and go get it, or just let it slip away? But like I said, they're playing great basketball right now. This test tonight is going to be a big game for them to see if they can compete against good teams and win on the road. That's what you have to do in playoff setting.
They don't play Indiana or Washington the rest of the way, according to the schedule I have here in their last 12 games. Of course, they drew Philadelphia twice, the Lakers twice. You do have Atlanta in there. That game, April 4th, could have big implications for seeding. You've got Detroit in there as well. Like, it's a mixed bag in terms of schedule, but you don't have the opportunity to gain a game now, like, except for that Atlanta game. Even then, you don't know where you're going to be at in the standings on April 4th. But now you got to also look at the lottery. You have a 26.3% chance of the top 4 pick. That number has been going down as they win, which, okay, you're going to take that pick farther down for Orlando to get, unless they somehow land in the top 4. So it seems to me right now, they're leaning toward making a playoff run more than tanking, which they've said, but now they're actually acting like it.
Yeah, they're playing good basketball. Like I said, the schedule, it is what it is. You're not going to get any pushback on the schedule, but they just got to go out there and win. They got to take most of their opportunities and really play good basketball. This is the time you want to be playing your best type of basketball and going into the playoffs towards the end of the season. And it's looking like they're, trending in that direction right now.
Won 4 of their last 5. That's a really good sign. And has that happened this year? They won 4 or 5 games. If it has, I think it's happened. It's happened one other time at the end of December. They won 5 of 6. So that shows you what type of year it's been. It's been up and down. But if they're up right now, you don't want to play a team that's hot in the playoffs or in the play-in. And the other team you have to watch from a draft standpoint is the Blazers, and it's looking more and more like the Bulls aren't going to get that pick. The Blazers have a worse record than the Bulls, 31-38, 3.5 games back of the play-in tournament. They have the 6th best lottery odds, and that number, according to our guys at Tankathon, is 37.2% chance at the top 4 picks. So that's looking more and more likely that the Blazers are going to stay in the top 14, and it just goes back to my point. You're going to be without a first-round pick if you are outside the top 4, and on a quick sim of the lottery here, you are outside the top 4 on that first pick. Like, I will not do that multiple times on the podcast. I go one time. I don't get these people that, like, I did it 3 times and they showed up once. That's great. Right. What about the other 2? Like, that's still 1 out of 3. Like, it was Meatloaf said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 1 out of 3 is bad. Like, I want first-round picks.
Yeah, if you don't have any first-round picks, you got to make sure you make great decisions in free agency and with the team and the roster you have. So if you don't have a first-round pick, they definitely got to make some good choices in free agency and get it right, because you don't have that luxury of trying to develop a good college player and hopefully he pans out.
Right. They preach development. When AK and Eversley were hired, you can't develop guys if you don't draft them. Like, something's gonna have to give, otherwise you're gonna run this thing back. And you ran it back this year and it didn't work out. Like, the guy I want, if you want a pure shooter, I think they're out of the NIT now, go get Jett Howard. Like, you're in the middle of the lottery, so you trade with who would be there. You'd have Atlanta would be right there right now, Oklahoma City would be right there right now, the Lakers. Like, you've got options if you want to get to like mid lottery, I guess, or even past the lottery a little bit. But you need shooting, and if you can develop that, that's huge going forward instead of relying on free agency and the trade market.
Yeah, and the good thing about Chicago, they're in a big market. Everyone wants to come to Chicago. I think the team is in a good place right now, but that's only good thing you have about free agency. People want to come there if you're working towards winning and being competitive in the playoffs. So that's the luxury they do have. It's not like an Oklahoma City or a small market team where no one wants to go there. And
you don't have a Fred Hoiberg as your coach.
Right.
You don't have I'll say his name. I'll go away from the bit for a second. You don't have a Jim Boylan as your coach. You have a guy who's known as a player's coach, and people want to play for Billy Donovan. I mean, this is not just me saying that. Like, you've heard this too, right? Or at least you
for sure.
That. Like, you've got someone players want to play for now. You can make the and I don't know how much cap space they have. Again, that's more toward the offseason conversation once the few games left, depending on what happens in the play-in. I'm not even looking at the cap space right now, but you've got guys that you got a guy in charge that people want to play for. And that's why I don't think Billy Donovan should be fired. Like, he can bring you guys and he can get the most out of them. Look at Pat Bev. Pat Bev's speaking highly of Billy Donovan over and over. He loves him.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think Billy Donovan needed to be fired, and even without the extension. I really like him in charge.
Yeah. Players talk. They all know, they're gonna, kind of go and do their due diligence and ask other players who play for different coaches, and if he's a good coach, someone he wants to play for. So, it's definitely a thing around the league, and word gets around pretty fast whether you're good or not.
And I'll tell you what, it sounds like Pat Bev's doing some recruiting. Sounds like he's doing some recruiting on that podcast. I heard that clip. He's talking about Zach LaVine being cold. He said he was calling people, telling them Zach was cold. Yeah. So, it's always recruiting season. I mean, I cover college football, college basketball, man. You never stop recruiting. Always be recruiting. Yeah. Like, if Pat Bev's doing that, and if they want to play for Billy Donovan, that's fine. Like, that's when you make it work with the salary cap or the luxury tax. Now, I know this is where people make the joke, and you can make the joke if you want, if you're listening, about Jerry Reinsdorf being cheap and not spending the money. Those jokes I'm leave up to the listeners. But, like, there's games you can play with the salary cap and the luxury tax. And if guys want to come play for you, they make it work too. It's a two-way street.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Guys will make it work, and especially if you're in a team that has, like, deep aspirations of getting to the playoffs and then also trying to win a championship. Guys will, sacrifice knowing that the payday is going to be in the back end if we do well as a team.
Exactly. Well, we got 12 games to see where they go, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to fall apart and miss the play-in. I don't know. We're going to find out. We'll find out in real time. We'll react in real time. But what we do know is they need a point guard next year after the Lonzo news, and I don't think Pat Bev's going to come back. At least I don't think he's the answer long-term anyway. But these are all part of the discussions we're going to have over the next couple of weeks. There are 3 weeks left in the regular season. Isn't that crazy that there's only 3 weeks left? Like I said, 12 games. It has flown. And I mean, it's been up and down, but that's why it's flown so fast.
Yeah, it's definitely going by fast. It's good basketball, the best time of the year. I feel like, March Madness, NBA, all types of sports is on. So it's definitely fun just to be out and, be alive right now.
Yeah, this is a really fun time. And I got the Masters coming up in a few weeks. I can't wait. I can't wait for the Masters. I'm so excited. I'm going to lose so much money on it. Anyway, that's a wrap for today's episode of Believe in Bulls here on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag. Use that promo code BLEAV, 50% welcome bonus just in time for the Sweet 16. If you want to bet on Tennessee, I'm not stopping you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to any Tennessee listeners too. If anybody wants to pick Tennessee, I'm not stopping you. And buy our shirt, Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, shop.believe.com. We've got a fun few weeks here. Sweet 16, Elite 8, NBA final stretch heating up. CJ, we're going to have some fun here the next few weeks in the lead up to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. Great time for basketball. And hopefully, Tennessee Volunteers can pull it through and get to Elite 8.
Yeah, keep playing defense. It's going to do wonders. I mean, you stop Duke, you can stop anybody this year, I think. But we'll see how the matchups shake out. Otherwise, see everyone back here on Friday.